Hello, what a lovely morning it is. But what I would like to say, does anyone really believe the Islamist suicide bomber at the women's hospital here in Liverpool come up with this idea all by himself, constructed the vest all by himself and had no influence or no help at all from fellow Islamist terrorists here in this city? He's constructed this sophisticated suicide vest by maybe getting instructions off the internet or buying a book off Amazon, Suicide Vest for Dummies. Does anyone really believe he's constructed this suicide vest all by himself? He didn't have any help from other Islamist terrorists. He just come up with this thought while watching Coronation Street that he'd build a suicide vest and commit mass murder. Does anyone really believe that? Liam Thorpe, Liverpool Echo, do you believe that? Chief Constable of Merseyside, waltzing around Kensington, do you believe that? Counter-terrorism unit, do you really believe that this guy just had this wicked, evil thought in his head and constructed a sophisticated suicide vest all by himself and set out to commit mass murder? He had no influence or help from anyone else in the city. Does anyone really believe that? Now, I don't want to alarm anyone, especially with Christmas upon us and whatever, but it is a worrying prospect that this guy's obviously had help. Of course he has. He hasn't constructed that vest by himself. I mean, Liverpool Echo, Merseyside Police, Counter-Terrorism Unit, the government as a whole, they're not going to tell you otherwise. They're going to say it's the work of a lone wolf who had mental health problems and there's nothing to worry about. Little walk around Kensington, assure the public, and that's it. Nothing to worry about. It'll all go away. Liverpool Echo reporter Liam Thorpe, Merseyside Police, is this then the last of it? There's no more. You can assure us that there's nothing to worry about. This is the last of it. Well, you know it's not the last of it. It's the beginning of it, right across the country, not just here in Liverpool. But it is worrying to think that this guy sat there, maybe while watching Coronation Street, he's had this wicked thought in his head to commit mass murder, and he's thought, right, I'll build myself a sophisticated suicide vest and go to the Liverpool Women's Hospital or Remembrance and commit mass murder. He's had this evil thought and intention all by himself. No one's helped him construct the suicide vest. Do you really believe that? Come on, let's be real here. Let's be realistic, right? I mean, the Tory MP that was stabbed to death by the Islamist terrorist a few weeks ago, that's been all but forgotten about. The Manchester Arena bombing, that's been forgotten about. And I tell you what is one that's definitely been forgotten about. Lee Rigby, do you remember him? Remember Lee Rigby? Well, exactly, that's been forgotten about. And this one will be forgotten about and brushed under the carpet until the next one happens. And then they'll have the usual excuses, mental health problems and lone wolf and nothing to worry about. And they'll waltz around the local community talking to the public and everything's honky-dory. But we all know it's not going to be honky-dory, right? This is a worrying development here in our city, because like I've said, Liverpool's now turning into a little Baghdad. I don't want my city to be a Baghdad, right? I've nothing against these poor asylum seekers, refugees that are fleeing countries that we've been bombing. Yeah, it's terrible, but you can't inflict that then upon us. That's not my fault what the government's doing. We should stay out of these countries, Iraq, Libya, Syria, wherever, Afghanistan. We should never have been there in the first place, but that's another video in itself. So these people that are fleeing war-torn places and they're coming here, I understand that, I really do, but it's not in our interest or our benefit to receive these people. And just is food for thought. The British Navy during the Second World War sunk the pride of the German Navy, which was the Bismarck, right? Supposed to be unsinkable, it was that good. Yet these dinghies are waltzing across the channel and no one can stop them. I mean, it's mind-boggling what sort of idiots are in charge of this government. That's why I believe when someone does, not if, when someone stands up and comes forward and says, right, I'm going to lead this country, I'm going to lead its people. We've had enough, we're going to stop this. Nothing will be able to stop it. It'll sweep that lot out into the Thames without a problem. In the meantime, we just need that person, that special person, to come forward and stand up and say, right, we're not tolerating this no more. End of. But getting back to our Islamist terrorist that went to commit mass murder at the Liverpool Women's Hospital to murder nurses and infants or those of the Remembrance Service. Either way, it doesn't matter. He was out to commit mass murder. Does anyone really believe this thought just popped up in his head while watching Coronation Street or Emmerdale, and he decided to construct a sophisticated suicide vest by buying a book off Amazon, Suicide Vest for Dummies. Does anyone really believe that? I don't think Liam Thorpe of the Liverpool Echo, Merseyside Police, Chief Constable of Merseyside, and counter-terrorism, and the government as a whole are being honest with us and truthful with us that this isn't the last one. It's the beginning of them, right across the country, probably not just here in Liverpool. And that is worrying, especially with people out shopping with the kids around Christmas. And like I said, I don't want to alarm anyone. You've got to go about your bother, and you can't let these things stop you doing that. But I don't believe this guy just sat there and come up with this wicked evil idea and constructed a sophisticated suicide vest all by himself. He's had help, of course he has, right? And I think the powers that be, Liverpool Echo, Liam Thorpe reporter in particular, the Chief Constable as well, and Merseyside Police are not being honest with us. Okay, thank you.